What if I told you that the most fundamental, powerful, and creative force in the entire universe is the one thing we all take for granted? We look at our watches, we mark our calendars, and we feel its passage as birthdays come and go. We call it time. But what is it really? Is it just the relentless ticking of a cosmic clock, a one-way street that carries us from the past through the present and into an unknown future? Or could it be something more profound, something more active? We often think of time as a passive background, the stage on which the great drama of the cosmos unfolds, but perhaps we've had it all wrong. For centuries, our greatest scientific minds have crafted beautiful theories to describe the universe. We have equations that can predict the graceful arc of a planet as it orbits a star, and others that can describe the strange, probabilistic dance of subatomic particles. These theories are magnificent achievements of human intellect, allowing us to build technologies and understand our place in the cosmos. Yet they all share a common limitation. They describe how things work with incredible precision, but they rarely, if ever, explain why they exist in the first place. Why is there such a thing as gravity? Why does matter have mass? Why do forces compel particles to interact? Our current models accept these as fundamental truths, but they don't derive them from a single, deeper principle. This is where science often finds itself, standing before a locked door. We know what's happening on our side, but we have no idea what lies beyond. What if the key to unlocking that door, to understanding the why behind existence, has been staring us in the face all along? What if time isn't just a measurement, a simple coordinate on a four-dimensional map? Imagine just for a moment that time is the very fabric from which everything is woven. This is the breathtakingly simple and yet revolutionary idea at the heart of a new perspective called the Chronos Theory. It suggests that time is not just a stage, it is the actor, the director, and the play itself. The Chronos Theory, recently outlined by physicist Matthew J. Hall, proposes a radical shift in our thinking. It asks us to see time not as a concept, but as a real physical entity, a fundamental field that permeates all of space. Think of it like a vast, invisible ocean. In this view, time is not just moving forward, it is an energetic field that can be stretched, compressed, and rippled. It has tension and it has pressure. And in its dynamic, ever-changing behavior, it gives birth to everything we see and experience. It is the ultimate source code of the universe, the ghost in the machine that breathes reality into existence. This simple, elegant idea has the potential to unify our understanding of the cosmos in a way we've only ever dreamed of. So how can a single field, the Chronos field, be responsible for the staggering complexity of the universe? To grasp this, we must let go of our everyday notion of time. Imagine this field in its most perfect state, a state called the 0 point. At the 0 point, the time field is perfectly smooth, flat, and calm. There are no ripples, no tension, no activity. In this state of absolute equilibrium, nothing exists. There are no forces, no matter, no light, no energy. It is the true meaning of nothingness, a perfect temporal silence. It represents the potential for everything, but the manifestation of nothing. It is the blank canvas before the first stroke of paint. Now imagine something disturbs this perfect calmness. The Chronos field begins to curve, to stretch, or to oscillate. Suddenly this placid field develops tension. According to the theory, it is this very tension, this disturbance in the fabric of time itself, that we perceive as energy. Everything that exists, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, is simply a manifestation of the time field being excited out of its peaceful 0 point state. It's a bit like the surface of a still pond. The pond itself is the time field. A pebble dropped in creates ripples. Those ripples are energy. A vortex that forms is matter. The pond isn't just the medium, its behavior is the phenomenon. This leads to a profound reimagining of what we call empty space. We've known for a while that the vacuum of space isn't truly empty, it's fizzing with quantum energy. The Chronos theory provides a beautiful explanation for why. Empty space is simply the time field in a state of high tension, like a stretched rubber sheet. This inherent tension is what we measure as vacuum energy. It's not empty at all, it's a reservoir of immense potential energy, held in the taut fabric of time itself. This idea solves many puzzles in modern physics, including why the universe didn't collapse into a singularity at the Big Bang. The inherent entropic pressure of the time field simply wouldn't allow it. But some might ask, isn't this just replacing one mystery with another? Is this theory too complex to be true? Actually, the beauty of the Chronos theory lies in its simplicity. Instead of needing a whole collection of separate fields and forces, one for gravity, one for electromagnetism, another for the Higgs boson, it proposes just one. A single, unified Lagrangian based on the dynamics of the time field can derive all the known forces and particles. It suggests that the universe isn't a complicated machine with many different parts. Instead, it's more like a single instrument, the time field, capable of playing an infinite variety of notes and chords, which we perceive as the laws of physics. If the Chronos field is the universe's grand instrument, then how does it play the specific notes that create the reality we know? Let's start with gravity. Einstein taught us that gravity is the curvature of space-time caused by mass and energy. The Chronos theory agrees but goes a step deeper, explaining why mass curves space-time. It proposes that large concentrations of energy, like a star or a planet, are essentially regions where the time field is highly compressed and ordered. This creates an enormous amount of entropic pressure, forcing the surrounding time field to bend and stretch. What we feel as gravity is simply the slope of this curvature in the time field, a cosmic downhill slide towards the area of highest temporal pressure. What about light and the other forces? These emerge from different kinds of disturbances in the time field. Electromagnetism, the force responsible for light, electricity, and magnetism, is proposed to be a first-order asymmetry or gradient in the time field. A photon, the particle of light, is not a separate entity, but a propagating pulse, a ripple of temporal tension moving through the field. The strong nuclear force which binds atomic nuclei together arises from an even more extreme condition, temporal clustering, where the time field becomes so dense that it forms incredibly strong self-reinforcing flux tubes. This naturally explains why quarks are so tightly confined within protons and neutrons, and what is matter itself. In our current understanding, particles are fundamental points of existence. In the Chronos theory, they are not fundamental at all. Instead, particles like electrons and quarks are localized, self-sustaining standing waves in the time field. Think of them as tiny, stable whirlpools in the cosmic ocean of time. The mass of a particle is simply a measure of its oscillation frequency, the energy required to sustain that specific resonance. This elegant idea also explains spin, the intrinsic angular momentum of particles. Spin is simply a reflection of the topological structure, or the winding, of these time field oscillations. It's a property of the wave's shape, not an add-on. You might be wondering, why haven't we heard of this before? New scientific theories, especially those that challenge our core assumptions, take time to be scrutinized and tested by the wider scientific community. The Chronos theory is very new, presented in mid-2025. It builds upon decades of thought but offers a fresh, unified mathematical framework. It directly challenges established models like the Higgs mechanism by suggesting mass comes from temporal resonance, not a separate field. Its journey through peer review, debate, and experimental verification is just beginning. It stands as a bold new proposal awaiting its trial by fire. The implications of the Chronos theory extend far beyond the realm of theoretical physics, potentially transforming our technology and honestly even our understanding of ourselves. One of the most exciting possibilities lies in the concept of the zero point and vacuum energy. If empty space is actually a sea of temporal tension, it represents a nearly infinite clean energy source that's, well, all around us. For decades we've dreamed of tapping into this energy. This theory provides a clear physical mechanism for it. If we could learn how to locally flatten the time field back towards its zero-point state, we could release its stored tension as usable energy. This could be the key to unlocking technologies that sound like science fiction today. Imagine power plants that draw limitless energy directly from the vacuum of space, ending our reliance on fossil fuels forever. This wouldn't be creating energy from nothing, but rather converting the potential energy stored in the fabric of time into a usable form. It could lead to new forms of propulsion, where spacecraft don't push against anything, but instead manipulate the curvature of the time field around them to move. By controlling the very medium of existence, we could develop technologies that are far more efficient and powerful than anything we can currently conceive. The theory also offers a fascinating, though more speculative, lens through which to view one of the deepest mysteries of all: consciousness. What is a thought? What is self-awareness? The Chronos theory speculates that consciousness could be an emergent phenomenon of highly complex, stable, and recursive feedback loops within the time field. Our brains, with their intricate neural networks, may have evolved to become exquisitely sensitive resonators, capable of creating and sustaining these patterns of temporal coherence. In this view, our awareness is not just a product of biochemistry, but a sustained, self-observing resonance in the fundamental field of time itself. Of course, a theory this grand must be testable. Is it real science or just philosophy? The Chronos Theory makes several concrete, falsifiable predictions. For instance, it predicts that the rates of radioactive decay could be subtly altered in environments with extreme gravitational or entropic gradients, a phenomenon not expected in the standard model. It also predicts the existence of specific harmonic frequencies in the time field that should correspond precisely to the masses of all known elementary particles. If future experiments, perhaps at particle accelerators or in sensitive deep space observatories, fail to find evidence of these effects, the theory will be proven wrong. This is the hallmark of a true scientific theory. It sticks its neck out and invites challenge. We stand at a remarkable moment in the history of science. For the first time, we have a theory that doesn't just describe the pieces of the universe, but attempts to explain why they exist from a single, unified source. The Chronos Theory asks us to perform a mental shift as profound as when we first understood that the Earth was not the center of the universe. It asks us to see time not as a passive river carrying us along, but as the dynamic ocean from which all of reality springs. It gives time its proper place as the ultimate creative force, the author of all physical laws and the substance of all existence. Is time just something we measure? Based on this theory, the answer is a resounding no. Our clocks and calendars are merely our crude ways of perceiving the effects of a much deeper, more active physical process. They measure the rate of change, the unfolding of events, but the field itself is the cause of that change. The forward arrow of time, the reason we remember the past and not the future, is explained as a fundamental consequence of the time field's natural tendency to diffuse its energy and flatten its gradients, a physical manifestation of entropy woven into the fabric of the cosmos. This new perspective could be the key to solving the most persistent problems in physics. It offers a way to unify general relativity, the science of the very large, and quantum mechanics, the science of the very small, by showing they are just different behaviors of the same underlying time field. It has the potential to explain the mysteries of dark energy and dark matter as different states of temporal tension and curvature. It provides a physical reason for why quantum calculations don't fly off to infinity, a problem that has plagued physics for nearly a century, by building a natural regulator directly into its foundation. Ultimately, whether the Chronos Theory proves to be correct or not, its greatest contribution may be the questions it forces us to ask. It pushes us to look beyond our current models and wonder if there is a simpler, more elegant truth waiting to be discovered. The idea that everything we are, everything we see, and everything we know is a complex dance within the field of time is, honestly, inspiring. It suggests that the universe is not a collection of disparate random things, but a deeply interconnected unified whole. Understanding time as the primary force of nature could be the single greatest leap in our quest to understand the cosmos and our place within it.